following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys? Go Cowboys!
This is Mick Shots.
Streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Now, here are Bill Jones, Savannah Humoller, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
And it is a Tuesday, which is actually a Friday. Where's our Fight Song Friday?
Hey, man, we got to have a show
tomorrow. Big Shots. We do have a show tomorrow.
Oh, we got a show tomorrow.
But
okay.
technically, in the Cowboys world, it's Friday out on the practice field.
Thank you, Chris.
Why aren't they on the practice field? I thought this was a rejuvenation day, Mickey.
Walkthrough.
It's what they normally do on Friday.
All right.
But I thought, did I see pads? I didn't see pads.
No pads.
No.
There's no
helmets
pads.
by choice.
No. It's November. It's no pad November. That's what this is.
They were
Is that what it is?
They were trying out their Color Rush helmets. That's the only guys that had those on.
Oh, yeah.
So when you said 59, you know what came to my mind?
Well, wait. I said 59 before we were on the air.
Yes.
Okay. But there were numbers that were thrown out. I have no idea what they had to do anything with. But as you all know, the way we keep track of numbers is we correlate them to Cowboys.
Right.
And so number 59, who's your number 59?
It was Derek Brownlow.
Derek Brownlow is your number 59.
I don't even remember him.
Linebacker.
I think he was your teammate. Let me look it up.
Brownlow was in the 90s.
91.
I was going to say, nope, I know I'm not that far gone.
So who was your 59?
Jesse Penn.
Jesse Penn.
Penn.
Jesse
I need to look at that.
How about Ernie
Virginia
Sims?
Tech.
Ernie Sims was 59?
Yeah.
Sixth pick in the draft out of Florida State.
For 1 year.
Ernie Sims.
Yeah.
And wait, I
Wynn.
need to look, see if I got mine right before I say it on the air.
It was Dat Wynn.
59. Oh, no, he wasn't 59. Never mind, I won't say it then. Guy Brown was 59.
That's correct.
Yep. And Dat Wynn.
Remember when everybody made a big deal last year because they signed Tack McKinley?
He wore number 59.
And I don't think he ever played.
Yeah.
Why is that a big deal?
Everybody, it was another name. Remember a guy that was
High draft pick.
high draft pick?
I didn't know that.
And they brought him in, and he was a high draft pick.
Just another draft bust, huh?
That's why I was waiting
You
for
got
somebody.
great undrafted free agents.
But that's a fun game to play every now and then, is just throw out a number and
Who do you remember most?
who's your Cowboy player that comes to mind when you say the number?
I could do that the entire podcast.
You want to? We'll start with number one.
Right. Just make it all the way down to
work it
99.
all the way through.
Up to 99.
All right. So, Mickey, we have football players
Yes.
on the football field
It's Friday.
on a Friday that is actually Tuesday on the calendar.
And I think that when Mike was asked about injuries, he seemed optimistic about Jaron Kearse. So that bodes well for having him
He would be
back
number
on the
one.
field. And Rico Dottle, who is who? What number is Rico Dottle? Come on.
23?
23.
Come on, man.
All right.
There's a
Whenever
numbers game.
whenever we say a player's name, we have to say the number.
That
gonna be a long
that should
one.
be just on this podcast.
that's right.
Only this podcast.
So, yeah. And I don't think
So Rico Dowdle's good to go. 23 is
Rico's
good to go. Okay. All right.
Dak Prescott not on
Four.
not on maternity leave yet.
Yeah, I was wondering if we could bring that up. I wasn't
Yeah.
sure how delicate that situation
No, he
is.
talked all about it.
Oh, okay.
March.
Yeah.
Babies due in March.
Oh, that nursery better be up then.
That's right.
Right? I mean, you got to have that thing going.
Hopefully, he doesn't have to worry about it during the football season, right?
See, they're far enough along that they know the gender. So,
Oh, they do?
He'll be a girl.
Girl.
It'll be a girl.
Oh,
Girl dad.
I had a girl first as well. Mm-hmm. They're the best.
I had a girl every time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Three
then,
times.
you know, it's better than having a boy.
They're the best until they hit 16.
Yeah, but the boys are the worst all the time.
Why are you looking at me?
I wasn't.
I wasn't that
You were
bad
just
at 16.
scanning the
I
room.
was scanning the room for anybody else.
We're not too
I could
bad.
identify.
My daughter was great the whole time. It's,
Depends
it's the
on which one
sons.
you're talking about.
Well, it's the sons, because in the beginning, we are the worst, man. We are just dumb, sloppy, dirty. But women, my daughter, she was at 12 years old, she was mature.
The emotions didn't start bouncing off the wall.
Well, yes, they had the emotions, but
Yeah.
she was articulate. Right away at 12 years old, we put her on the answer machine. Her voice on the answer machine. How we do that?
The voicemail message.
Yeah, and she sounded like everybody. Like, who's that grown woman? That's my daughter. She was 12 years old at the time. My son, I would not dare put him at 12 years old on the answer machine. What are we doing, Dad? That's not gonna happen.
So,
Yes.
March is the due date.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And he was pretty happy about it.
Excellent.
So that was good.
What else did Dak have to say yesterday?
Well, he's got to keep. Here's what's happening here. Everybody, about what turned Dak around, right? Now he's on this high, and he is, right? He is now has the second-ranked quarterback rating in the NFL. Mm-hmm. It's at 107. If you think back about around maybe the San Francisco game, his quarterback rating was like 87.
Yeah.
Right? So slow start.
Well, that was after. How many interceptions did he have?
3.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. 3 of his now 6.
Yeah.
So half of them in one game. And then now it's all about Pollard. What's turned Pollard? Are you healthy? And, you feel more comfortable. Well, here's the bottom line. The offensive line finally is playing well.
That's correct.
Right? It helps the quarterback. It helps the running back. If it helps the quarterback, it helps the wide receivers. And I think that's what everybody's missing. It's the offensive line is finally playing to the level we figured they would be playing to.
I don't think they're there yet.
And not quite.
Yes.
You're right.
There's another factor.
Yes.
Giants, Panthers, Commanders.
But even so.
Now, and here's the thing about that, because in previous years, we would really stink up. Well, not previous years, even go back to the Cardinals game. We used to stink it up against bad teams at times. And so far, we've been consistent enough to just win the way we're supposed to win. There are times last year, and even like we mentioned Cardinals, where we didn't even do well against that particular team. And so what we're doing what we're supposed to do. To me, that shows maturity.
And I don't think it's necessarily the defenses of the Giants, Panthers, and Commanders. It's what they are unable to do offensively. Where the reason that Dak threw 3 interceptions against the 49ers was the Cowboys fell behind to the 49ers. And so, you're playing catch up the entire game. You can, when you're ahead or in a close game, you can have a mix of a run and pass and keep a defense off balance.
And when you're ahead, it accentuates your defensive talent because now they got to play catch up, right?
Now they
got to throw, right? And I think that's been one of the keys along the way is get out to a quick lead and make them play catch up.
Any team that cannot stop our passing game at this point, they're going to be in trouble playing the Dallas Cowboys. That's just the way it is. They can't stop us. The DBs can't stop us. That started with Philly, Giants, all that. Philly being the best team that we played in that stretch. Their DBs were just as fragile as any other DBs that we went up against. And that's what gives us the confidence is when we can go up and down the field the way we have been.
And these other teams aren't beating other teams this badly.
That's right.
And they're playing some of the same teams, too, by the way. And to accentuate the defense, getting a lead. So they've got 6 defensive returns for touchdowns, which ties the record that they set in 2021. Right?
Yeah.
But no other Cowboys team has had that many defensive returns for touchdowns.
They didn't have Bland.
And they didn't have Dan Quinn.
Right.
Or Dan Quinn, yeah.
So, but yeah, and they're the first team in NFL history to win each of their first 5 home games by 20 points or more. So somebody else has beaten these other teams too, right? So I think that's
That's why we look so forward to, the stretch coming up.
Well, this next game.
Yeah.
I mean, Seattle's 6-5. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Now they've lost.
Our arrows pointed down.
I know they've lost
they're
3 of their
trending
last
downward,
4, right?
And it's getting worse for them with Dallas, San Francisco, and Philadelphia ahead on their schedule.
And
Right.
we have to be careful with what's on our schedule, because we're coming into the most, the scariest part.
And they tied their ship to Geno Smith, and his quarterback rating right now is 88. So 12 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and he's only completing 65% of his passes.
Yeah, they've been getting some pressure on him as well.
Drew Lock's coming in soon for Seattle.
As long as you got that offensive line in Seattle, they're still going to have the same problems, and we're going to expose that offensive line. That's Geno and that O-line. Mm-hmm. We'll see.
Do you like that Monday night game last night?
Oh, God.
I turned it off in the third quarter.
I think if the Bears weren't playing, and I wasn't a big Bear fan growing up, but I watched.
You were a Packer fan, right?
Yeah, but I watched.
Like every Chicago.
Should have been at that time.
It's so weird.
The end of the game, did you stay to the end?
I stayed to the end, yep.
What did Joe Buck say at the end?
I don't.
Something to the effect, and this one's finally over. And Troy said, thank God. Somebody had a stat this morning that the Bears were the first road team to not score a touchdown, not throw for however few yards they ended up throwing for, and turned the ball over as many times as they did, and still won.
What does that say? I mean, really, what does that say? I mean,
The quarterback play in that game was
oh my goodness.
Dobbs. This makes you feel even worse that you lost to the guy, right?
Yeah.
Well,
4 interceptions.
Let's give Dobbs a break.
Well, he had 4
He's-
He
Yeah,
was
he's
with
had a
Cleveland.
rough year or so.
He was in Cleveland
But he
August
beat the
25th,
Cowboys.
and then he goes to Arizona.
holding that
and
against
he's
him.
been with Minnesota for less than a
He's
month.
played with
we're
guys
holding
he
that
doesn't even
against
know their
him. You
names.
beat us, then you can't do better. That's what we would say. You beat us, but you go up there and you can't do better. Come on.
4 interceptions, and they dropped 2 others, by the way.
Well, it showed that
And I told
why
Bill,
it showed why
he texted
been
me and I said-
with so many teams.
I said Minnesota's going to win this 10-9, and they were going to until Justin Fields completes like a 30-yard pass when the few times they allowed him to throw the ball downfield.
Their only receiver on the team was left
Right.
wide open in the middle of the field at the 13-yard
How does that
line.
happen?
DJ Moore.
Who else was he going to throw to? They kept throwing sideways the whole game, trying to get the ball out of his hands.
That was the element of surprise. He was thrown to the sideline. And
See, that's smart.
Why would he throw in the middle of the
That's
field?
smart. Don't talk about them for winning the game. Praise them for winning the game. That was good stuff.
And Mickey,
Yes.
okay, you've always said that the more you kick field goals,
Yes.
the
Closer you are
closer
to
you are to
losing.
losing the game.
And they
Well,
were.
They won with all field goals. No touchdowns.
And even missed one.
Yep.
And missed another opportunity to kick one when he fumbled the ball away at about the 20, 30-yard line.
And here we are in week, 11?
12, I think. huh?
12?
12.
Man, we're still playing ball like that? That's really, what does that say about coaching?
What does that
That
say
you're
about
still
the
that
quality of
incompetent.
quarterbacks in this league?
Yeah.
But they don't want to practice.
They can't.
No.
It's against the rules.
Yeah. And I think we're seeing it. I mean, do you have the list of the scores this week? There was a bunch of
I do.
teens to teens.
Let's see.
12-10 last night.
Steelers Bengals. Steelers 16-10.
How about the Giants Patriots game?
Titans 17.
Quarterbacks.
Panthers 10.
Quarterbacks.
You know,
Giants 10. Patriots 7.
Quarterbacks.
Offensive line.
don't say that about my guy Tommy
Come on,
DeVito.
man. I'm sorry.
Tommy DeVito's on a 2-game winning streak.
That's right. I'm
That was
looking
it?
at Scores from Sunday.
That told the story right there. That's all she needs to read out.
10-7 would.
Those were my standout ones. Yeah, very low scoring.
The Rams got to 30 points. They beat the Cardinals 37-14. The Chiefs got 31 against the Raiders 17, and then the Bills-Eagles game. We had two quality teams going up against each other, and it's 37-34.
So what's Kingsbury doing right now?
He was at USC on the staff with Lincoln Riley at USC.
Oh, okay.
Who, by the way, is now number one on the list of most likely to get fired coaches.
Crazy.
It is how crazy it is. And by the way, on that topic, with the coach getting let go yesterday in Carolina, let's talk a little Mike McCarthy when we come back here on Mick Shots in just a moment.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Mick Shots.
K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, the official roofer of the Dallas Cowboys.
All right, Mickey, anything else that we need to get to? Has there been a Shaq sighting here today?
You know, I walked around. I didn't see him.
I did.
You did?
I did.
Wow.
You got scooped, Mickey.
She's been sitting on this all
Mickey
this
gets
time.
scooped on his own show.
She gets to go places I can't.
No, we were sitting at the lunchroom, just eating pretty early today before the show, and he walked through with a big.
And we're
big
not talking.
group of people.
And we're not talking Shaquille O'Neal.
No,
we're not.
Shaq
Even though he does have
Leonard.
residence here in the Dallas area.
He does, yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, and reports are he is supposedly having lunch with Jerry Jones today.
Jerry said that he was having lunch with him after he went and took his physical, and that he said, let me see where I can find it. Basically, it was a physical, and then the question is where he is with his health, and then the next step would be if we can work something out with him. But he also pointed out that the Cowboys aren't the only team interested in Shaq Leonard.
So if everything checks out fine, do you let him out of the building and let him go to Philadelphia?
He was asked that, and he says, I can't make decisions on what somebody else wants to do. So he's hoping it's not a matter of money, because Indy owes him $1 million a week for the next 6 weeks.
Boy, that must be nice. Golly, that is really cool.
I think, Everson, we're running out of times in our lives to be let go and get paid to be let go. It seems to be catchy these days in this country.
It's like these coaches getting let go, and with so much first year of the contract. And in the case of Carolina with Frank Reich yesterday, at least for the head coach who has all that money owed to him, it's not an altogether horrible day.
Mm-hmm. I don't think Jimbo Fisher's crying.
Right.
No, not feeling sorry for him.
But anyway, so obviously the Eagles are interested. I think we talked about it yesterday because they not only lost Nakobe Dean, but Zach Cunningham got hurt in the game. But as I started reading around, Buffalo, the Steelers, and Denver also seem to have some interest in being able to bring him aboard. Now, some of those teams, they're kind of in the same boat the Cowboys. They need help now, but, if somebody offers him a long-term deal, I mean...
And Buffalo's another team that lost their linebacker, Matt Milano.
That's right.
I mean, you look Philadelphia and Dallas, Buffalo.
And I don't know what the Steelers in Denver... what they're looking at. But anyway,
Denver's looking at a 5-game winning streak, and all of a sudden they're in the hunt.
Mm-hmm.
So they're looking to add. And when Pittsburgh looks around the landscape in their own division, Cincinnati lost their starting quarterback, Cleveland lost their starting quarterback, and things are Pittsburgh just doing what they're doing is they're looking to upgrade.
Yeah,
they're in the hunt.
Yeah.
So Jerry said the question is where he is in his career as where he is health-wise. And he said now the next thing is how do you get something worked out if all the other two things fit. He said it doesn't surprise him at all that the Eagles would be interested. And he said the thing probably doesn't have a financial aspect to it, meaning he's getting paid. So that's what I think he was hoping for. Mm-hmm. So anyway, they'll, have their lunch and then see what happens.
And the other thing is, okay, even from Shaquille Leonard's standpoint, how much is he looking at, hey, maybe take care of me for next year too.
Right.
I mean, remember when Odell came through here and at the end of the season, and everyone's wondering about his health. Well, it was more about next year when Odell came through.
So and then there's the factor of, again, when we talked about last week, was you got to find a spot on the roster for him, because I would imagine he's not settling for a practice squad signing and then elevate him as needed, right? Although I did see a curious one. Tyrus Wheat showed up on the injury report with a concussion.
Mm-hmm.
And Peyton Hendershot's probably ready to get back.
Now, is this his last week?
Who's that?
On Peyton Hendershot, on his 21-day window?
I think he's done two. He's done two.
So this would be his third. So next week would be the week that they have to make a decision on him.
What was his injury?
It was an ankle, right?
I believe Savannah's right. Yeah, it was an ankle.
Right again, Savannah.
Scooped him again.
That's why she's on the show.
Just to keep Mickey straight.
By the time she carried her weight.
Oh, it's coming. Don't you worry.
Right, that's right.
All right, I teased this.
More than I could ask from you two.
Yeah, that's true.
Frank Reich,
yes,
it's let go yesterday. And this is a coach who has had success at previous stops in his career, okay, veteran coach. And first year at Carolina, things go haywire, right off the bat. I don't think expectations were anywhere near what they are annually. Well, certainly they aren't where they are annually for the Cowboys here. But for a veteran coach coming into a new place, look at Mike McCarthy. Since he was let go by Green Bay, and how McCarthy has been able to not be set in his ways. to that year that he was out of football. He, there was much talked about. He would get together with other guys who had previous NFL experience, had coaching experience in the league, and they get together and they'd study the game, and spent that whole year studying the game. And then him coming here, and then just evolving with the times, evolving himself, his evolution himself as far as and keeping up with the game. It really says a lot about what he has done during his 4 years here.
And 2 12-win seasons.
Mm-hmm.
You have to
working on a third here.
That, working on a third.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think back to even the beginning of the year, where he was catching hell, offense is old, doesn't know what he's doing, he's calling plays, and then now it's like, look at Mike McCarthy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like standing by your foundation as a coach, your principles as a coach, but also evolving with the changing landscape of the game.
Well, that is tough to do for old coaches.
Did you ask? Did you hear the question he got asked about Pete Carroll and himself? And these older coaches are still being successful, and he kind of put his fist up in the air. He goes, "Yeah, let's hear it for old coaches."
And by the way, he turned 60 this month.
That's right.
Just a couple of weeks ago.
And I think
60,
the press,
which isn't old by any means.
No, but the question was prefaced with Carroll's 72, and you just had a significant birthday, and he started laughing. Right, and it's like, yeah, let's hear it for old coaches. I'm all for it.
That's a tough one too. Tom Landry had a problem with it. And many of us were victims of that as players, because it affects the entire organization. I could even go back to Grambling. Coach Robinson was old when I got there, and he still coached many more years after I left. And it's hard for them to really take that step, as far as philosophy is concerned, into the next, onto the next level, to the next generation, so to speak. Because you're talking about generations of coaches that are coming through, and you're still doing the same thing over and over again. Tom never wanted to get rid of the flex.
Yeah.
The flex was our downfall. That's just the way it was. He never wanted to get rid of it. And once it was time to get rid of it, we didn't have the talent to be able to handle whatever came in. So it's hard for old coaches to do what McCarthy and Carroll are doing.
And I'll throw Dan Quinn in there too.
Yeah.
You just look at what Dan Quinn has done with this defense, and going back to his days with the Seahawks, what they used to do there, and how in just 10 years' time, how things have changed in the league.
Yep.
And being able to adapt to that.
Back to Atlanta even. Yeah, so it's, like I said, kudos to him and for both of those coaches for being able to, make that move and still be relevant, instead of just living on your laurels. And I was with 2 coaches that ended up doing that same thing. And, they're the ones that when they retire, they got nothing else going on. Bear Bryant, same thing. As soon as they retire, next thing you know, they get sick. Next thing you know, they're not around.
The other thing, it's interesting, glad you brought up Pete Carroll, just the comparison with Carroll and McCarthy as coaches. They are both, I would think from a player standpoint, they seem to both be very approachable.
Yes.
Where players, their relationship that they have with the players, that's huge to their success, I think.
Sure. Hopefully it keeps them more in tune to the upcoming
Think about how things have changed even since McCarthy became a head coach, just in terms of social media. And the players, the social media really didn't start taking off until 2009, 2010, something like that. And McCarthy was 4 years as a head coach, and so he had to evolve even as far as that goes.
And not only as a head coach, but he started coaching in the league in '93, was it, with Pittsburgh? Kansas City, after he left University of Pittsburgh.
Right.
So, yeah. Now, Dan Quinn's young. He's only 53. He's not an old coach, but he's coached already. He's already 21st year in the NFL.
Jeez.
So, yeah, he's been around.
But look at his success
as
a defensive coordinator 10 years ago with Seattle, and then he takes Atlanta to a Super Bowl, and then the league changes over the course of this decade, and he's ahead of the curve on it.
Well, if you look at a lot of the other teams now, they've kind of gone to an extra safety defense and one less linebacker. I see other teams starting to do that.
That's crazy. It's funny. We worry about him being old. You have to be before your time. Right? And then time has to catch up with you.
Right.
So when you get really old and you pass those two stages,
then you got to evolve again, right?
Again, that's correct.
And a big part of it, too, is the energy level. And you see a lot of times. I remember when the Texas coaching staff, when Mac Brown was there and his assistant coaches, they got older. And so, and of course, it's different in college where you're recruiting, and you really got to have a high energy level to do that.
Yeah. And younger coaches.
But as guys get older, that you really know whether you still have a love for the profession, if you can keep your energy level. And Pete Carroll is at the head of the class as far as that's concerned.
I just don't like the coaches that they stick. I'm going to stick to what I do. Well, man, you're bringing the league down. Because you're just being a dinosaur. And those they can bring the team down and bring the league down.
All right, we continue with more Mick Shots in just a moment.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Back to Mick Shots.
'Tis the season for youth football and dance camps presented by Invisalign. Don't miss your chance. Learn from the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders and former NFL players at AT&T Stadium on December 22nd and 23rd. Celebrate the holidays with the Cowboys. Register today at dallascowboys.com/camps.
All right, final segment here of Mick Shots. Mickey, do you want to go Canton, Ohio news or your other?
Let me do the other one first.
Okay, we're going to do the other one first.
I heard.
Okay, I understand.
I heard this.
Mickey is about to rant. We're going to figure this out.
That right it's like, is it okay if we just have some fun? Because I heard severe criticism on talk radio of Dolly Parton.
What did you hear?
And how she dressed. And it was like, it should have brought a smile to people's face that she put on a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader uniform under her bodysuit, her glitzy bodysuit. Mm-hmm. And it was like, why? You're 77 years old and you go out on stage and look like that? It was disgusting. And I'm going, seriously? it brought a smile, I think, to a lot of people's faces that she had the nerve to go out and do that, right? And sing. And I just heard all this criticism. And it's like she wasn't trying to make a sexual statement or anything. It was having fun. And we got to find something negative all the time about something. And it's like, God, just enjoy life and stop the criticism. This woman got out there and she did so much to raise money for the Salvation Army to the point of donating $1 million out of her own money. Didn't bring that up, but brought up the fact that she put on a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader outfit.
And I'll be the first to say I worked with several people that had helped set up the halftime show for Dolly. And for a lot of those people that met her, they had nothing but great things to say, from security, from people that were golf carting her everywhere, how just nice she was and professional and saying thank you, and just how great of a person that she was to be out there and you know, show up for this halftime show. It was incredible. So that's disappointing to hear. And
there was more that she did than just go out there and sing. She did all that stuff that led up to it, right? She did a promo for television. She did the thing sitting at the desk, and it was. I just thought it was kind of a joyous moment, right? And it fit right in with what happened on Thanksgiving here at AT&T Stadium. And, you know, Jerry was asked about home field advantage or whatever, and he goes, well, and he, you know, gives the normal thing, yeah, the fans are great and whatever. He said, but you also got to factor in that in others, compared to other stadiums, we get 10 to 15 more thousand people in our stadium, right? And it makes more noise than in other places. And he said it's just a coup to have, you know, the things that we have here at AT&T Stadium, and the fact that they brought more recognition the whole day to the Salvation Army and about how, you know, whatever they raised, and even Dolly's $1 million, he said that will feed $2.5 million of Salvation Army people.
And it didn't hurt that we scored a few touchdowns and we were able to jump
into the kettle.
Into the kettle.
Yeah,
and more attention to it.
Yeah, more attention. Then you got,
I mean, don't you know
turkey legs in there? And
people are watching at home and they're not a fan.
I had people calling me and cracking up.
Right.
And they were just giddy with them jumping in there, and they got the turkey legs and all of that. Because I couldn't see a lot of it. I was on the plane as soon as I landed. So they were just telling me about, you know, how they were treating each other as they got into the kettle. That was all part of the fun.
Well, he told a story about Al Harris, that he and Bland had this conversation, and he said something to Bland about, well, if you get one, you got to go in the kettle.
Yeah.
And then he thought, well, now wait a minute, I better. And he said, so he saw Mike and Jerry talking about it, and he went up to him and said, well, you know, we had this conversation with Bland, and Jerry said, you know, he asked, he is okay if he does that. And he said McCarthy turned to him and said, if he gets an interception and returns it for a touchdown and jumps in the kettle, you better jump in there with him.
Right. Now, they get fined for that, right?
I haven't heard any fines.
But previously they did.
Zeke did the first time.
Yes.
And then they donated the money to the Salvation Army.
But it was still
and then
fine.
The next time they said it's okay.
Okay, so
what's the difference between that or jumping in the stands?
Yeah, Lambeau Leap.
Right?
And we're raising money.
And attention. So don't you know there's going to be people, they're going to go shopping this weekend, they're going to see the bell ringers, and they're going to go, okay, here's $1.
Right. I saw the guys jumping in.
Yeah.
Right. Good stuff.
That is.
Good stuff.
All right.
Mickey, I have a suggestion. You need to quit listening to those shows.
I know.
I was going to say that is the minority. That's the minority.
I turned it off.
Yeah, the majority of everything.
There's plenty of other options.
Man,
give me credit. I turned on music.
You gave them too much credit already. They got too much notoriety already.
In this podcast world we live in now, there's a whole lot of other options out there. You don't have to listen to that.
And it's
nonsense.
always the minority
music
that makes all the noise. So, no, you're good, man.
Okay, now here's another Mickey rant coming your way in 3,
Wait,
2.
what was the other one we were going to talk about?
Here's the other one. 25 modern-era player semifinalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame's class of 2024 announced this morning, and Darren Woodson is, yes, among those 25.
For how many times?
8th time as a semifinalist, 2015, 2017, and now 6 straight years from 2019 through 2024.
8 times he was a semifinalist?
8 times a semifinalist now.
Wow.
Is that ridiculous?
Almost as ridiculous as your case.
Yeah, almost.
I'm exhausted. I don't know what else to say.
Right.
I've written it so many times how he deserves this, and it's like, what more can you say?
I like to make comparisons. And all I saw, I went there for the Black College Hall of Fame game a couple of times. And I saw a couple of names up there, and we went to the pro shop or whatever, the Hall of Fame shop in Canton, and I just got more and more pissed off as I looked at some of the names, and not just for myself, but for him. And this is his position. This is Darren Woodson's
safety.
Position. Safety. Leroy Butler.
Yes.
Atwater. Steve Atwater.
There's another one in there.
Let's just, once again, give them all credit.
Right.
Because they're all damn good players.
But if they're in,
then where's the justice?
John Lynch is in.
John Lynch, that's another one. That was the first one that pissed me off. And I'm not Woody. Woody, this is his position here.
Yeah.
And you look at just those 3 names right there and tell me how their accomplishments are better than Darren Woodson's. I can't see it. You can go numbers all you want. You can go number of Super Bowl wins. You can go number of tackles. And that's what safeties are known for. Brian Dawkins is another one. The number of Super Bowl wins that Darren Woodson has. And not just that, it's the sacrifice that he made later on in his career. See, these are the things they don't know about him. Mm-hmm. They don't know about the sacrifice he made moving from safety down to the slot. And when he's really a linebacker by nature, but you got him playing the Brandon Cooks of the world. And he's down there doing the job.
He was ahead of his time. These defenses that the league is running now?
Yeah.
Darren Woodson, can you imagine?
30 years ago.
He's tailor-made for this.
30 years ago he was doing that.
That's it.
And it's just so frustrating. And so I'm guessing his last year would have been 2004, 3?
Something like that.
I think it was 4 because
It was 03.
03 was the last he played, but he was here 04. Bill wanted him to stay, and that's when he had his back problem, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And then he ended up retiring because he couldn't play.
Mm-hmm.
So next year, it's 20 years. And he's eligible now to be a senior candidate.
Is it 20 or
20?
25, right?
I thought it was 20.
I think it's 25. I should know this.
Well,
yeah, you've looked it.
After a while, it just goes a blur. It's just a blur after a while.
But it's like, now, he shouldn't have to wait that long, is my point. And,
I think when it comes to the process, of course, I've always been against the media being the first line of defense. I've always been against that. It makes no sense to me. But when it's all said and done, no matter how you do it, there's no excuse for not having it being done another way. But no matter how you do it, there's going to be some type of discrimination or, loopholes.
Right.
That's going to come with it. That's just the way it goes. I don't care if the players vote first or not, because then you're going to have players getting together, for their guy, because he played the same school, same team, conference, all that kind of crap.
You know what they should do this time when they make the argument for him? They should bring in Roy Williams.
Who's making the argument? That's my thing. Who's in his corner? You got to have somebody in your corner. I know who I have in my corner.
They have people locally that have the vote. They can make the presentation. They need to step up. They need to bring in Roy Williams. Exhibit A. When Darren Woodson was playing with Roy Williams was a Pro Bowl safety. When Darren Woodson retired, Roy Williams' career kind of went downhill. Mm-hmm. And he made the difference. he was the heart and soul.
He was
of
keeping him
these
away from
defenses.
the biscuits. Roy Williams, a biscuit away from being a linebacker.
Boy, you sound like Ron Springs, man. That's funny. That's a good one. A biscuit away.
And it's like he was the heart and soul of these defenses. His ability to be versatile, and you know what? And he played special teams till the last time he played in this league, because Joe Avezzano would not take him off special teams.
Yeah.
It was one of those, hey, Joe, what do you think? And it's like, no, I need you. And so, he did it. If they needed a captain for the defense, it would have been Woody. And if you just look, and even he's had a TV career that people should have noticed how well he knows the game, how well he analyzed the game. I
think when it comes to guys older, and the media gets younger, then there's just no interest by them to do the research.
Right.
That has to be part of it, because if you do the research instead of going by, like I said, I have my guy, and he's got his people that are going to be voting for me, regardless. And so, so everybody's got their guys.
Sometimes you don't.
They're not going to research. They're just going by who they asked.
Right, or they look at numbers and say, "Well, he's only had this many interceptions," but you don't understand that you got to use your eyes sometime to tell you what's right and what isn't.
Well, there's so much research behind the numbers, and the seasons, that they just don't want to take that time. To me, if you're going to be a Hall of Fame voter, the responsibility that comes with that, do your freaking work, do the job, do your research.
Don't just show up the Saturday before the Super Bowl and say, let me listen to this presentation.
Right, exactly. So
there are 3 DBs in this semifinalist class. Eric Allen, Rodney Harrison, and Darren Woodson are the 3 DBs. So of the 25 semifinalists.
Eric Allen.
Yeah, Eric Allen.
8
He's good.
Eagles?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was good. He's got about 50 plus, right? 50 plus picks at least, I think.
And I'm not trying to diminish guys that are already in.
No
like
doubt.
You said, the 3
I am.
people.
I am.
But if they're in, then he should be in.
Yeah.
Point blank. Wonder if we can get him on the show here soon.
Man, I wouldn't. If I was him, I wouldn't even. Man, he needs to do like Harry Carson. Look, just take my name off of it. Don't even mention my name. And then all of a sudden, everyone's offended. Oh man, Harry's mad at us, and then they vote Harry in. I mean,
see, Eric Allen is another one that. All right, he's been a semifinalist 4 times the last 4 years. He retired in 2001. So, I mean,
so it must be, maybe it is 25 years.
For years and years, he doesn't even get considered.
Yeah.
So, all right. We'll have more time to talk about that. And tomorrow, we get you ready for Cowboys Seahawks. It will be our Fight Song Friday, Wednesday, tomorrow here on Mick Shots.
Pick the click.
And some keys to the game.
That's right. Okay, see you tomorrow.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?